Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Division video. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the open world, the area that you'll be exploring on your day-to-day Division life, and some of the stuff you'll be getting up to while you're there. I'm going to be talking about missions, encounters, intel, the dark zone, fast travel, safe houses, and yes, the map and the map size. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. First up, if we open up the map, this is your playground. This is Manhattan, and everything you see here within the hard white borders is yours to explore. Whether this map will expand further or not will of course remain to be seen, but I'm going to talk more about map size at the end of the video. For the time being, let's stick to what we know. Dotted around the map are a number of different icons. These icons here are missions, and they relate to the three different branches in both the base of operations and your own personal skill, talent, and perk trees. Completing these missions will, as discussed yesterday, allow you to upgrade different sections of your base of operations, and those in turn unlock new skills and perks. It's also worth noting that when you begin a mission, you can actually select the difficulty. Completing a mission on a harder difficulty not only gives you more XP, but also gives you better rewards. So there is actually incentive to replaying missions, especially because some of these can be a really good source for XP. As a side note, we were actually the only team to complete the first mission on hard mode. But anyway, that aside, on top of that you also have these selection of icons here. Encounters and side missions. These will populate your map after you interact with notice boards or obtain situation reports back at your base of operations. The colour of the encounter again corresponds to the respective branch in your base of operations, and completing these also awards you with supplies which are again used for base upgrades. The encounter missions themselves will vary. The one that I did had us assault the stronghold, which required that we work our way into a building that had been overrun by rioters and looters and take them all out, in turn securing the stronghold. However, some of these may require you to rescue a hostage, take out a particular target, or even defend an area. They're not all the same, and they do provide you with a good variety of things to do. Side missions are also similar to these. I didn't actually get a chance to try one of these out while I was there, but they do serve a similar purpose. In fact, one of the things I thought would be pretty cool is if these side missions and encounters also became an additional part of the Division's endgame. What if, say for example, you could log in on a daily basis, visit a notice board for a situation report, and you were then presented with a fresh set of encounters, bounties, and side missions. I did actually ask a developer if this was the case, but again they weren't talking about endgame just yet, so I didn't really get an answer for that. Now moving on from there, let's talk about safe houses. There are two types of safe houses, the ones you find outside the dark zone and the ones you find inside. Outside the dark zone, these safe houses act like player hubs. They offer you some of the basic functions you have in your base of operations, like access to your stash, vendors, and the notice board for situation reports, but they obviously don't provide you with access to the wings to upgrade things like medical, tech, or security. What these do allow you to do, however, is matchmake. See if other players from other teams happen to be in here at the same time as you. Unlike the base of operations, you will actually see them here. This also means you could then invite them to your team if you're a man short, or you could just, jump around and do star jumps and dance with them if that's more your thing. On the flip side, however, safe houses in the dark zone are personal to you and your team. If your team enters one of these, you'll see each other, but if the enemy team enters, you won't see them. Safe houses inside the dark zone are a lot more basic. They typically contain a restock crate, so you can refill your medkits, ammo and consumables, and they also typically have a very special vendor. Unfortunately, in the build that I was playing, the vendors weren't there, but normally the vendors you find in the dark zone safe houses actually sell legendary weapons. And for those of you wondering, those are the orange ones that have the best stats and talents. Do bear in mind though that items purchased within the dark zone require dark zone currency and also rank, both of which can go down if you're killed. So as I'm sure you can imagine, obtaining items from these vendors comes with its own element of pressure and risk, especially if you've been spending a lot of time ranking up and saving up the dark zone credits for that particular weapon. You then need to make that dangerous trip through the dark zone to the vendor in order to buy it, but of course if you get killed along the way you could lose some of that money. Do bear in mind though that items you buy from vendors do not need to be extracted, so I don't think you then need to go and take your legendary weapon and extract it, because you don't. Once you bought it, it's yours. Now, outside of the dark zone, you'll also find collectible items, or intel. These come in various different forms, but collecting these items not only offer you a bit of story insight, but if you collect all the items in a particular category, you'll also snag yourself a nice reward. Typically, that's some sort of cosmetic clothing item, but either way, it's pretty sweet. Also, whilst outside the dark zone, you can fast travel to select locations. I do appreciate this does break the immersion a little bit, but it is handy at times. You can fast travel to the base of operations or to fellow teammates, but you cannot fast travel if you're in the dark zone. Otherwise, people will just end up teleporting at the first sign of danger. And finally, let's return to the topic of map size. Now bear in mind, any questions I asked in Malmo pertaining to the map size were again met with the same answer. They weren't talking about specifics at that current moment in time. However, that paired with the harsh borders you see here does make me think that this could be the majority of the area that we'll be exploring. I say the majority because I believe there are a couple of zones we can access but can't see. See, the demo I played starts at level 4, with us flying in a helicopter. We also know from the trailers and the gameplay that Brooklyn exists in some capacity. Exactly what capacity, I don't know, but if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say it most likely acts as, say, a starting zone. Perhaps we wander around there, learn a bit about the virus, start to level up, get used to the controls, and then we're called to Manhattan to help out. That is of course speculation, but it would of course certainly answer why we fly in at level 4. That could also mean that there could be other areas that we could access through specific missions or situations, perhaps more towards the end of the game. They do make mention of Central Park, so perhaps a high level mission would have us, say, venture out there via helicopter and then fly back to the open world once we're done. But to be honest, I don't know that to be true, so I'd rather not speculate right now. What I can say is that the area you have to explore is extremely dense. A lot of the buildings can be entered, not all of them, but a good number of them, and some of them even have multiple floors with occasional rooftop access. But will that be enough to keep us busy for hundreds of hours? The honest answer is I don't know. The hands-on time I had was literally 3 hours, so there wasn't even enough time to explore the whole city. I played the alpha in an even smaller area for 3 days straight and certainly had a lot of fun without feeling that I'd run out of space to explore, but whether that feeling remains the same 100 hours in will again remain to be seen. It's also possible the map could expand in either free content updates or DLC, but again, that is not confirmed. So all I can tell you right now for sure is that the area you see in front of you is what I had to play with. There is no confirmation that this is the complete area, but similarly, there's nothing to say that it isn't. So for the time being, we're just going to have to sit tight, wait for the beta or the full game, and just find out for ourselves. But until then, hopefully this video has at least given you a bit of an insight into some of the things the world has to offer. If you guys did enjoy the video, then don't forget to drop a like and comment down below telling me what you think, or with any questions you may have. Remember to tune in tomorrow for another brand new Division video, and thanks again for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.